Gentlemen, ladies, start your engines. What's up, Highland? I figured that was a good lead in here. It's the weather's changing finally.
It is.
And it's getting ready to be March, and I think we all know what that means. It's we're going to start hearing some loud noises from the south end of town here. So it's one of the Highlands landmarks. So we got Kurt Vonderhaar here today, Joe Horseman, Ryan Sotman. We'll get going here real shortly. Just want to make sure that we invite everyone to the YouTube page to follow us on there. We have a What's Up Highland Facebook page. Follow us on there as well, because we have interviews lined up every week through mid-April. So we do have a great lineup coming up, and want to make sure that everyone stays in touch with what's all is going on. So
what a good podcast last week, by the way.
Was good.
It was a good one. Very entertaining to listen. If you guys have not listened to that one yet, go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
Was that with Plucker?
Yes,
it was.
Yeah, it was.
I did see that. Didn't get a chance to listen yet, but I'll definitely check it out.
Well, let's top it this week, huh?
Let's do that.
We're trying to just go above and beyond, rinse and repeat every week.
That's right.
So, well, let's get into it here. Kurt, thank you so much for joining us today, and maybe you could just introduce yourself to the people that don't know who you are, what your role is with the world famous Highland Speedway, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, no. So Kurt Vonderhaar, born and raised in Greenville, so right down the road. Grew up on a farm there in Greenville. Went to SIUE for college. Got a marketing degree at SIUE. Been about 25 years ago now, which
is paying off very well for this guy. Marketing degree,
dating himself too.
And then kind of was in corporate marketing for a long time. So I was actually a corporate event planner for 15 years. Traveled all over the country. I've been to 43 states, probably every major city in the United States. I've planned probably 2,000 events, from trade shows to private dinners at the CEO's house in Napa Valley, to the sales meeting in Montreal. I mean, I've done a lot of neat things. So now what I've done is kind of taken all that knowledge that I've learned, traveling all around, doing these events, and we're bringing it to the world famous Highland Speedway. So for the last 2-3 years, been helping out there. Kind of got connected there with your cousin Sean Horseman. Got me out there and got me hooked. Took me in his 2-seater. He used to have a 2-seater modified that you could actually ride in the passenger seat.
Is that still a thing?
It's still around. He sold it, but it is still in the area, and I think the guy's willing to bring it out.
That's right. Maybe someone out there is wanting. All right.
Did you ever get a ride in that?
I did, and I don't. I would not. I would hope the video never gets out, because you would think I was screaming like a little girl in there.
I was laughing the whole time. I loved it.
It's a very visceral experience, and you think you see those cars going around the track out there, and you think it's nice and smooth. Look at how. No, it's not.
No,
there's not any suspension really on these cars, and they are feeling every bump. And then you see that wall coming, and Sean's on the gas, and you're like, turn, and he does this interesting thing. If you watch their feet and the steering, they're actually turning right to turn left to kind of control the over and understeer. So he's mashing the pedal. I saw it. He taps the brake, and it like sets the car somehow, and then just mashes the pedal and turns that wheel right. And all of a sudden, you're 3 feet from the wall over here, and you're going, "Oh crap!"
Yeah. I experienced the same thing there for sure.
Yep. You realize that those things, it looks like they're under control, the whole, but those wheels are spinning. Those wheels are never truly catching and gripping.
I think it's a
constant spinning.
Is it a 12-inch tire or 8-inch tire that they have on the modifieds? It's not a lot of tire for 700 or 800 horsepower.
Yeah.
So it's really, those racers are all about brake and throttle control. There's some neat videos out there showing the feet of the drivers, where they're actually a lot of times on the gas and the brake at the same time.
Is that me? You don't know.
That matters. Okay. Have some
a little feedback here.
But it's just it's a neat sport. Sean took me for a ride. I think that was in 2017 or 2018. He got me to sponsor his car. I bought him a helmet. Had one of the nice air injected fan helmets. So he bought him that, and that got me a sponsor with a business that I had previously. And got me hooked. And I guess about 2020, 2021, they talked me into doing the marketing, kind of taking over social media, and that kind of led to also doing the sponsorship. led to now promoting the World of Outlaws race out there. A lot of people don't know, but I was financially responsible for that race. So I rented the track. I paid the exorbitant sanctioning fees.
Took on some risks there, didn't you, Kurt?
We did. It was
betting on yourself.
about $100,000, quite frankly, to bring the World of Outlaws to Highland.
So
but,
it's coming back. So I'm assuming it worked out.
Yeah. Biggest crowd ever in the history of Highland Speedway. I think we had 3,200 people out there on August 13th.
Biggest crowd ever?
Yeah, biggest one-day crowd. The previous would have been 2023 in Summer Nationals. We had about 3,000 people, so we beat that by a couple hundred.
You got to go bigger this year. You can't just settle on that little old number.
Well, if anybody out there has some bleachers that we can bring in, we'd be happy to add a few seats. But
we need to take out some of them trees across the track and put some seating out there. That's what I watched when I was a kid.
Something, but yeah, they did ask us if we could add some capacity. I don't know if we can do that, but I think we started pre-sales already for the reserve seats for this year back about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and just about all the reserve seats are almost sold out. So
wow.
So yeah, I think we're gearing up for a great World of Outlaws, a great season just in general. But there's a lot of history out there. A lot of people don't know that track's been in operation for 63 consecutive seasons.
63.
I'll bet the ones that live there know. Right by the jump, they know that.
Well, that's the thing, right? The Speedway's been there for so long that the town was those subdivisions behind it were kind of built around it. You're in real estate.
Yeah.
You know what it's about. And
I've lived out there. It's not bad.
It's one night a week.
It is. It shows that there's. It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
It shows that there's stuff. To me, it was always like something's happening.
Yeah.
There's activity here. I mean, you hear it. So I know some people are bothered by it, but
it doesn't. The noise really doesn't start till after dark, roughly. And you get a movie going in the house, like you got TV going, you can't hear it.
And depending
Ryan,
on
that is come on, hey folks, we want you to comment and can you hear it when they start? I think you can.
Can you? Maybe I just turned my TV up loud.
This is a perfect opportunity for everyone to say, can you hear it?
But it's a sacrifice, right? But I don't think people understand what an economic driver it is for the city of Highland to have 2,000 people every Saturday night coming to Highland, spending money, with not only the concessions, but they're stopping in town and buying gas on the way in and the way out.
Nice.
And on a big race night there, ice, there you go.
So let me ask you, Kurt, because you're bringing up a good topic here. There was a point in time where the activity at the Speedway was not really what it is today,
sure,
and not so recent times. What's changed? What has driven this? I'm setting him up. This is a good day, man.
He's a humble guy. He's not going to
$20.
He's not going to just say it was.
Well, I did think about that a little bit on the way in, and yeah, we have made some changes the last 3 or 4 years. I'd say one, community engagement, doing things like this. I think it's great having the What's Up Highland podcast and being able to come on here and talk about it. I go on 97.5 FM. Once a week during the season to talk about results.
Cool. I didn't know that either.
With Elaine down there. Yep. She's a sponsor of ours, so she lets me come on for probably a 10-minute segment once a week.
Elaine's
we talk
awesome.
about the results. And we send out our results to all the media. So even the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, the News Democrat, the Pioneer here locally, the Breeze Journal supports us, and they like to run our results and our pictures.
Send it to us. We'd post it on on the after the event's over.
So I'd say that. Kid-friendly activities. I think the junior fan club, we've got a group of girls, the Corey sisters, 3 sisters that race out there, and they've taken over the junior fan club. And I mean, every week we've got a bounce house out there every week for the kids. They plan fun activities like Power Wheels races, coin races where they just throw coins out on the track to go and pick them up. There's always something fun for the kids out there. And I think, and also kids 12 and under are free on regular race nights, not necessarily special events, but regular race nights, 12 and under are free. So it's an economic way for the parents to get out there, get a few hours out of the house. The kids can go and play. It's a safe
Ryan's
environment.
got 8 kids that are under 12. That's where he's at every Saturday, and he brings his lunch too. So,
but fan friendly environment, kid friendly environment.
Kurt, I'm actually glad you brought that up because you're focusing on the kids, and I know there's a lot of people that live in Highland that have never even been out there, and I'm glad you're talking about the kids because I think if they knew that there was a good concentration around not only the racing, but giving plenty of entertainment throughout the night. I mean, I know, I don't know if it's a specific night, but you go out there and it seems like there's 50 bicycles
Yep.
sitting down there by the fence, and you guys give all of those away, correct?
Yep. Always tons of giveaways.
what a cool concept.
Yeah, so that and I think we've had a lot of support. Social media, we've really stepped that up. We've got 28,000 followers on Facebook. I think another 28,000 on TikTok.
Yes.
We're actually, out of all the dirt tracks in the country, even the big ones, I think we have the biggest following of any dirt track. Now, it's only 28,000 followers, but in that little niche environment, we're kind of leading the way.
We have 10,000 people in this town, so I mean that is a reach.
Yeah. So that's helped us attract new sponsors, right? Yeah. So we've got tons of new sponsors out there. I really appreciate all of our sponsors and the business and the community.
You got any that are new this year, or that sponsoring the whole? I don't know how all that works. Is there somebody you want to mention?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've got lots of support. A couple of new ones. MH Equipment, the forklift company here in town, recently added. And then I don't want to give too much away, because once you start talking about all your sponsors, then the other tracks start calling them too. So
okay, so this guy knows what's going on here.
Keep it in our pocket, a little bit. But
keep me at bay. All right, I'm going to try and dig here.
But just to give you numbers, I'd say they're probably between 75 and 100 businesses.
Okay, and what did that number be? Let's say 5-10 years ago.
15.
Yeah.
So we reorganized the sponsorship program. We made companies step up, and we kind of changed the pricing and but we made sure that they're getting good value out of it, right? And when we've got 60,000 followers across social media, we can push out. I'm always willing to do anything for the sponsors. So if they've got an ad, they've got some product or something that needs to get out there, we've got the vehicle to push it out there to tens of thousands of people.
So while we're on that topic, and this is efficiency, you're going back to again, when I went a lot when my cousin was racing, and he's kind of stepped to the side for a lot of different reasons. But I can remember them races going on till 11:30, 12 o'clock. Yep. People get irritated because it was late. But I remember for a long time that was a long night, especially when you got kids.
Yep.
You guys have corrected that.
We have,
correct?
Kind of. A little bit by force, but I think the city is holding us a little more feet to the fire as far as the time limit. So just so that everybody knows, and there's always some ambiguity out there. Nobody knows, well, when are they supposed to stop racing? The official rule is 11 p.m. on regular race nights. So on regular race nights, when it's not a special event, we have to start that last race by 11 p.m.
So you guys are normally done by then.
I'd say on average this year, even our special events, 10-15.
So you can get,
that's awesome.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know necessarily. And then so special events, we get an extra hour. So for Summer Nationals, for World of Outlaws, we get until midnight. So we can start our last race at 11:59 or midnight. We just can't be right after that. So we make sure we get it in a timely fashion. And just so people understand the schedule of the racing out there, we post a schedule on the way in, an order of events, so you kind of know. Because that's when I started going out there. I love sports. And I just want more information. Mm-hmm. Yep. What's going on? Sure. Otherwise, it kind of is just like cars going around in a circle.
Yeah. You're like going to a wedding. Fashion. You want to know what's coming up. What song? When's this thing over?
So if you look on the right-hand side when you walk in, we post the order of events, so you know the classes that are running and kind of the way the night goes, just so people know. There's hot laps at the beginning for each division that's racing. Usually we have 4 or 5 divisions on a night. So hot laps is a couple laps of practice, so they can get a feel for the track. Then we go into heat races, and then heat races determine your position and getting into the feature race. So winning the feature race, one of the 4 or 5 feature races at the end of the night, is the goal for all of these guys. So when they say they won on that night, it means they won the feature race at the end of the night.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say with the World of Outlaws that came last year for the first time. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of really, really good feedback. I mean, this is a national organization that came in for the first time to the world famous Highland Speedway. There was a lot of really good
big
feedback.
Names, right? Big event.
The biggest in dirt racing. So I would say that World of Outlaws is the NASCAR of dirt racing. So to have them. And we bugged them for 2 or 3 years to get them to come to Highland. There's a race director, Steve Francis, and he's a very well-known entity in the dirt racing world. He's won some of the biggest races in dirt late model history. started bugging him. Somebody gave me his cell phone number. I won't say who. One of my friends out there that's an announcer in the racing world gave me his cell phone number. And so I just started sending him videos. So Summer Nationals is one of our biggest races. Typically we sell out standing room only. So I took videos from that night, and I would pepper Steve Francis with these videos. Steve, you need to bring the World of Outlaws. And then in 2023, I wrote a prayer during the Summer Nationals race that we had one of the racers read that said, "And Lord, we pray that Steve Francis will see the light and bring the World of Outlaws late models to world famous Highland Speedway in 2025 and 2024." And sure enough, that was the video that finally pushed him over, because he mentioned it. He mentioned it to me. He goes, "Yeah, you put me in a bad spot. You know, when you prayed to the Lord, we had to bring it there."
You gotta. How can you not?
Oh, that's great.
So I can't deny the prayer.
The Lord giveth, and He take it away too.
I clipped that video and I sent it to him, and we posted it. And yeah, I mean, and about, I'd say I still hadn't heard from the guy. Right, he never responded. And then I'd say September of 2023. I see a Georgia or North Carolina number popped up. And I'm like, interesting. So I answered it. Hello, this is Kurt.
Didn't think it was spam.
Yeah. Steve Francis, World of Outlaws. And I think I was with somebody. I'm like, Steve Francis is on the phone. And he goes, "Kurt, we're going to give you a date. We don't know what date yet. I'll give you two or three. We got a Wednesday. We race and we sold out that place on a Wednesday night. Right. We typically race on Saturdays. So when we got the Wednesday date, we're like, well, it'd be nice to have a Saturday, but let's kill it, on a Wednesday night, and then we'll kind of see. But it turned out it went so well on a Wednesday night that we're just going to keep doing it.
Wednesday night?
Yeah, it's going to be a Wednesday night again this year, August 14th. It's actually the first day of school. It turned out to be the first day of school, but we worked with the superintendent, the principals, to make sure we weren't creating any kind of traffic issues, and it all worked out great.
So Ryan was telling me before you came here, he knew that Summer Nationals was coming, and he wants to be the trophy boy.
I think we can do that. Only if I can pick the dress code.
You're gonna make my face turn red.
That's for the waffle you made me a couple weeks ago.
But no, having the World of Outlaws, decide to come to Highland. It was one of, I think they go to 50, different cities.
Yeah.
And to have them come here was a huge deal. Never been to Highland before. They've been to Belleville once before. They've been to Granite City, to Tri-City a couple of times. They've been to Peevely over in St. Louis several times. But yeah, to have them come to Highland and to have our fans show up the way that they did, they're
and
coming.
that's a big payout too, right? Like, I think the money is an attractant. When you guys run those, was it 10,000 to win?
Yeah,
that packs the stands, because that's a pretty good payout.
Yeah,
it's a good.
And now they've bumped it up to 12,000 to win for 2025. We're paying 12,000 to win super late models. We bumped up the modified portion, so we run two classes that night. We're paying 2,500 to win for the modifieds, which is a really nice purse for the modifieds. So yeah, last year we had 32 super late models and I think 25 modifieds. Our track was probably the best track surface we've ever had, quite frankly, for a race. And so I think going into 2025, I could see some bigger numbers and some more guys showing up.
Do the locals, are they? I don't know how all this works. Are the locals able to be in that race that Wednesday night, or is it just the outlaw circuit that can race?
Yeah. So anybody that wants to show up and buy the pit pass that has a super late model here in the area can show up. So we had, I think, 3 or 4 locals that made the feature. I think the top finisher was Darren Klein. He finished either 6th or 7th.
Okay.
But yeah, Darren Klein, one of the Surreys, I think Tischhauser and Chad Zobrist all made the feature for that race. So it's a race actually with all of the local knowledge that those guys have. Out of probably all the tracks, there's probably a better chance at Highland for a local winning one of those races. Mike Harrison, actually, he was a 5th. We had 5 guys. Mike Harrison made the feature too. And at one point,
late models?
Yeah, he ran a late model the last couple of years. And actually, at one point, Mike was in, I think, 4th or 5th and moving up. And I think we kind of thought, Mike's got a chance here. And then he got a flat tire. And once you get a flat tire, you can go into what's called the hot pits and change your tire. and come back on the track, but you got to go to the tail of the field. And in a field like that with some of the best drivers in the country, I think
they need Ryan on their crew. He's a flat tire specialist anymore.
Yep.
You are.
Yep.
But I think people don't realize too, it's like you can be a driver at Highland Speedway.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and get a special license. You don't have to get certified. We've got some of our lower divisions, like the Warrior division, is 4-cylinder cars. So think Chevy Cavaliers, Cobalts. You can buy one of those cars.
Drove them both. No, I didn't.
put a roll cage in it. Get a helmet and safety equipment and a race suit, and you can be out there racing at Highland Speedway.
Inexpensive fun, probably in that division, right? Ryan, did you do it?
I did do
time?
it. That's right. I forgot. I almost forgot. I did do it once.
It was so fun you forgot.
I think
I lost a wheel.
For like $1,000, $2,000 investment, you can be out there in a car. And then this year we're introducing a Crown Vic division. So we're going to run, I think, 6 nights of Crown Vics.
Oh, look, you need to call that the Hoopty division. You can take it from me.
They've got some interesting nicks. So the 4-cylinders, they like to call them the Bang Bangers. Okay. So the Bang Bangers, the Hoopty division, I could see that.
All right.
But yeah, I think we're going to see, because in that 24-hour race that Tracy with Leaps of Love puts on, you see a lot of Crown Vics in that race, and I think some of those guys are going to end up racing Crown Vics. And the thing about Crown Vics, it's rear-wheel drive as opposed to the 4-cylinders are front-wheel drive, so they get a better feel for possibly moving up in the other divisions if they wanted to go in a factory stock next.
Makes sense.
Yep. But it's expensive to race in those bigger divisions.
Yeah.
What about when are we going to see school buses racing?
Figure
I got all sorts of good ideas.
Figure eights, yeah. No, I guess what goes in my mind is the insurance, right?
Okay.
It's like,
Well, I guess we don't want to see first student with a couple kids still in the back.
Yeah. But
That was me. I fell asleep on the bus and forgot to get off.
Those super late models are not cheap. So, on a Saturday night, let's say we've got 20 or 25 super late models out there. Each one of those cars is probably worth $50,000 to $100,000. They could have $50,000 in the engine alone.
Wow.
And there's no insurance, right?
No.
In racing. So if you tear something up,
It's on you.
or your buddy runs into you and tears you up, it's coming out of your own
my
pocket.
hobbies are under control then. I'm happy all of a sudden.
And they're racing. They're not racing for necessarily big money always, right? So you said like World of Outlaws, we're paying $12,000 to win. On a regular race night for super late models, it's sometimes $2,500, sometimes it's $1,500. So they're really out there racing for more of the glory.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell us when are things starting here? I mean, we're got to be close, right?
Yeah, with the nice weather, I went out and did a live video yesterday to talk about it. But March 11th is open practice from 6 to 8 p.m. $20 for any of the drivers that want to show up, and any class of dirt car can show up. And what's great, the grandstands are open for free during practice. So if somebody's like, "What is this all about?" Come out there for a practice session. Bring your soda, bring your snacks. You can come out there and bring that all with you for the practice night. And we just open up the gate up top and let people come and sit and watch practice. And then March 15th is opening night at the Speedway with the Lucky 30. We're going to pay $2,500 to win super late models and $1,500 to win modifieds, which are both really nice payouts. So we should attract some kind of regional guys too that night.
2 weeks from Saturday. I love it. As soon as I hear that first thing, and Ryan and I, we're golfers. We're like, all right, we're ready to go.
It is a little squishy out there. So with all the snow that we've had, so we're hoping that we get some sunshine on the track here the next couple weeks to kind of dry it out. But we do have a rain date for opening night. So if the Lucky 30 is not able to happen on the 15th, the 29th, 2 weeks later is our rain date. So we're going to make sure we get that big payout show in. Okay,
so tell us what it costs to get in for a family of 4. I know you said it's free under 12. What's the grandstand cost?
$15 for grandstand tickets. So that'll get you in. It's open seating in the grandstands, and then we have reserve seating called box seats down in the first 2 rows. I think those go for $20 if you want a seat that is yours. But yeah, $15 gets you in the door. If you want a pit pass, so that kind of gets you all access, right? So you can go in the pits, you can go and stand right next to these cars and talk to the drivers. I mean, they're very, as far as access, you have all the access in the world to these guys. Pit pass will be $35 to get you in there. And then, like you said, kids 12 and under at regular shows are always free.
Love it.
And you know, we don't really, if somebody wants to bring 3 or 4 kids, like, we're not flinching. You know, we want to get the kids there because that's the future.
Well, the parents will come
track.
back. If the kids want to come back, the parents are coming.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, the one time whenever I was there, last year or something, I noticed a guy that was sitting next to me, got talking to him, and he was I don't even think this wasn't one of the big nights. I think he came all the way from Indiana just to come watch Highlands races.
Yeah. We've got a driver that drives over from Indiana just about every week to race a late model. So yeah, it's a regional reach. You know, for that World of Outlaws show, I actually saw more people there that I didn't recognize than ever before. So that's
what you want.
Yeah. It's got a regional reach. St. Louis is kind of one of the hotbeds of dirt racing too. So we've got 4 big tracks in the area that run, you know, big events like
and
the
they
World
follow.
Outlaws.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid and it was Summer Nationals, and I didn't know who he was at the time, but Dan Deerdorf was sitting right in front of us. It was kind of cool, but just to have him at professional football player for the St. Louis Cardinals, the football team,
original Cardinals,
the original Cardinals. But it was kind of cool that, you know, and you guys still have, you know, some famous people that kind of come through the gates.
I've befriended, so Kenny Wallace, the former NASCAR guy, has been a big supporter of ours. About 3 or 4 years ago, I approached him at a track and just chatted him up, and now he does some promo videos for us.
He seems very supportive of the world famous Highland Speedway.
Yeah, he shot a video, made some comments about how, you know, this track was failing and they brought it back, and this is the blueprint for all of America on how to bring a racetrack back from the dead. And his last words, Highland's kicking butt, you know? I mean, so it was
awesome.
Really cool. And he's been a big proponent. I actually called him yesterday. I was down in Herculaneum, close to where he lives, and I called him up, and he always answers the phone, and we kind of joke back and forth a little bit, but I think he appreciates the effort that we're putting in over here and helping to bring dirt racing back.
So he did a cool little video in front of a Twice the Ice machine somewhere. If you want to hit ours up in Highland, just let me know. I'd be glad to do a quick. He loved it. I don't know why. He's a Ice baby. He loved it. If he's out there listening,
yes,
but it wasn't my machine. Yes. So come on to Highland. I'll treat you to a bag of ice.
But guys like that help, and you know, we've got some stars here at Highland that race. So Mike Harrison, is the winningest, I think, one of the winningest modified racers in the history, you know, in the country.
That's pretty special.
Sure, he's known nationwide, you know, as far as
that's
dirt
his
racing.
Profession, is it not? That's what he does for a living.
I mean, you know, I think he works for a local farm here, but as far as, I mean, he's probably one of the few guys that actually make money at racing, because when he rolls in, it's like, well, we're all racing for second when Mike Harrison shows up.
I've seen him,
which is hard to do in this industry, to be able to make money.
Yeah, but Mike is a 7 or 8 time national champion.
Wow.
In UMP modifieds, he's won some of the biggest races. Last year, I think it was a 50,000 to win race up in Fairbury that he won. And so when there's a big modified race, Mike Harrison and Kenny Wallace will tell you too. Mike Harrison is the GOAT when it comes to modified racing. So we have him here. He's Highland born and bred. He's willing to do anything for us to help us promote the track. So yeah, and we've got some young talent kind of coming up too. I think Darren Klein in the super late model out of Fairview or Trenton. He's somebody I think to watch. And we've got lots of local guys. Chad Zobrist, you know, at the Dome in December, that's the big race at the Dome that they put on every December. He's made the feature there several times. So we've got a lot of talent, homegrown talent here in Highland. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Kurt, you have, I mean, you've done a great job with the track. Is there anything that we did not cover that you want to get out to people as we're on the cusp of 2 weeks of racing from Saturday here?
You know, I think one funny story to talk about is the origins of world famous Highland Speedway.
This is a good one.
Right?
It rolls off the tongue, so tell us.
Well, you know, several years back, you know, we were trying to revamp the track, try and get some more attention on the track. And I put my marketing hat on. It's like, you got to rebrand a little bit, right? You got to change things up and do something that makes people think. So yeah, right there, world famous.
Yep.
So I would say it was kind of 3 of us. So myself, your cousin Sean Horseman, and then Tyler Kathman out at Aggressive. I'd say all played an important part of this. So 4 years ago, I was going to some of the Summer Nationals tracks. So Summer Nationals, if people don't know, it's a 30-day tour where these late models race 6 nights a week for 4 weeks straight. And they go to all these tracks. There's probably 5 or 6 in Illinois. They go to some tracks in Missouri, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio. They go all over. And they call it the Hell Tour because it's in the heat of the summer. It's hard to race every single, 6 nights a week. But I would go to some of these races and I would hand out these Highland Speedway stickers and, give people our Summer Nationals night. Hey, make sure you're coming to Highland for Summer Nationals. And I ran into a guy and I said, hey, will you shoot a little clip just to, tell people to come to Summer Nationals? And he goes, come to world famous Highland Speedway. And he said it very sarcastically. And I didn't want to use the clip, but then I ended up using it anyway. And that was my motivation. When he said it, I'm like, you know what? We're gonna roll with that. So I told Sean that, and so we started right away on everything Facebook. Instead of Highland Speedway, we would say world famous Highland Speedway. And people are going, what makes it world famous? Nobody knows about this track. And it's like, well, maybe they don't, but they're going to, right? And so we started pushing that. Tyler redesigned the logo, and he put the world famous ribbon on there. And so now
I love it.
I love it too.
And now the World of Outlaws says it. When they mention Highland Speedway, they say the world famous Highland Speedway. When the Mars Racing Series, when they come to town, they use it. So it's definitely getting out there. We'll have people say negative comments all the time about it.
No, this is what
hate is gonna hate.
This is what works, though. It's catchy things that make you unique. It doesn't have to mean anything.
Yep.
But it sticks.
Yeah.
And you never know. I mean, the way you're growing, hey.
And so, and I think that maybe that helped get the World of Outlaws here, right?
Yeah.
And we've got other national racing series that we tried to get on the schedule this year, just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. So I think, we could look at some, maybe Lucas Oil, maybe it's Flow Racing Night in America. There's some other of these big racing series.
These are the ones that are on TV, right?
We're on the radar.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I think we had 3 or 4 televised races last year. So there's a service called Dirt Vision that World of Outlaws owns, the World Racing Group owns, and they push out all the Summer Nationals and World of Outlaws races. So you can catch 2 or 3 races a year from Highland there. Flow Racing puts on the Mars Series, so you can catch the Mars Series on Flow Racing. And then, we're Hunt the Front. We talked to the Hunt the Front guys. That's another series that's kind of up and coming. And
you cannot, now while we're on this topic, you cannot watch Highland at home. Let's say you're an avid race fan, you're sick. You want to watch, can you access the race from home?
So no, we don't have any streaming service right now. We've talked about that. But I think there's a few obstacles to that. One, video quality. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to, really get good video quality without bringing in expensive equipment and people who know what they're doing. 2, the Wi-Fi connectivity and kind of internet connection out there with it being in a valley.
Yeah.
So what I do is I try and shoot some live video, like on Facebook Live or TikTok Live, and I've had 3,000 people watching on TikTok Live before, and I'll say, hey guys, throw out where you're from, and there's people from Australia, from England, from every state.
You are world famous. Come on, let's stop it. You are world. We're not. I keep saying you. When I say you, as a ambassador of the world famous Highland Speedway, so I don't want to exclude anyone else, but you is encompassing the everyone.
We need to get Elon to see if he can give us a Starlink. We can get some better Wi-Fi signal and get that streaming.
I feel like the county famous What's Up Highland. County famous.
Yeah, there we go.
We did have,
think about it for a second.
Come to think of it,
it's got some work to do.
We did have the Highland High School video guys did come out last year, and they were videoing and then posting it on YouTube the next day. So we did have that access to be able to see the racing. But I don't know. What I always tell people is there's nothing like coming out there and seeing it live. It's not. You can watch my crappy little feed on my iPhone going back and forth, but I'm not really announcing anything. So unless you know a car that's out there, you're probably not getting a lot of information. There's nothing like being there live, hearing Doug announcing the race and calling out what's going on. And you can actually, a lot of people don't know, you can bring a headset and tune in through My Race Pass and actually listen to the audio. So, because sometimes the audio,
I see some of those guys have
with
that
the
on.
noise, you can't really hear the announcing that well when the race is going on. So you can actually have your headphones and be plugged in through that and hear the audio.
And the fans are fun to watch too. Man, I'll tell you what, if you're a people watcher, woo, I don't even go for the races anymore.
There is nothing like, so Summer Nationals, if you want to see Highland Speedway in all its glory, World of Outlaws was a much more tame, refined crowd, I think, because it's a higher, one of the best, the biggest series in the country. But Summer Nationals, we're known for probably being the rowdiest Summer Nationals race, because our fans, if they don't like the guy that won, and that happened 3 years ago, one of Mike Harrison's big rivals won the modified race, and our fans were not happy. And probably my most viewed video ever on TikTok is when Nick Hoffman, who's probably one of the winningest modified racers besides Mike in the country, he won at Highland. He hadn't ever been to Highland probably in 10 years. He showed up, he won with a broken car. His car broke and he still won. And then afterwards, his car came off the track with the back end just sticking up. And so they teched him for like 45 minutes. So I shot a little video with a clock running and, Nick Hoffman wins, but wait. And, we got so much. And a lot of it, because when you get the most attention I've found on social media is when you post something that's wrong. And everybody wants to tell you what's right. And so they're saying, well, Nick won the race. Well, this. And we ended up, I think, with 500,000 views on that video. So we haven't had a million view one yet, but I've got some with 500,000, 600,000, 400,000.
You know what'll get that?
He's a marketing genius.
Ryan is the trophy boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll hit 1 million views, especially with the Speedo.
There's a lot of people that want to see that.
In a Speedo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll start calling him my trophy boy.
Well, that's the end of this podcast.
Kurt, what else before, as we're kind of getting to where we're wrapping things up here? What else?
I'd throw out the Highland Dirt podcast. So we did start that last year. We ran 16 episodes. We got Bobby Pierce, who's the World of Outlaws champion in 2023. Ruben Morales, Ben Shelton, some of the biggest names kind of in national dirt racing. We had them on the show, plus a lot of local guys, Mike Harrison, Zeb Moak. So we did that for 16 episodes. So I'm sure you guys can appreciate what it takes to put a podcast together and keeping the regular schedule on. So we did that for 16. We're going to fire that back up and do some episodes this year. So Jacob Blumenstein, a local racing fan here, is my co-host. And we kind of there's really no other local tracks doing that. So it kind of helps push out the dirt racing, and people go, and we're on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, so you can still download all 16 episodes now. And if you want to learn a little bit more about Highland Speedway, I'd say, go to the Highland Dirt podcast.
Well, hopefully we can get some crossover here with our followers that maybe aren't, followers. And then they when we roll out this post, we'll have you guys connected, and hopefully you guys get some extra fan base out of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's just awesome, man. Just from a Highland perspective, like the amount of tourism that you guys are bringing in week out, man. It's what you're doing with the track is it's awesome, man.
No, I appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
We need more people here in Highland, right? We need new residents. We need, and I feel like if there's one thing that the city of Highland maybe doesn't do a great job at, it's marketing, right? On the interstate, you drive down the interstate, you don't really see anything that says, hey, really nice town with all of these restaurants, bars, cool things
all I
to
see
do.
is the Mile High Pie sign.
Yes.
No disrespect, but
so my proposal to the city leaders has been, we need billboards like that. We need 5 billboards.
I agree.
The what Blue Springs Cafe, right? They do an amazing job of getting people off the interstate, because you go in that restaurant, it's not really locals that are eating there. It's all tourists coming off the interstate. So we need to have some kind of marketing. So there is a Highland Square marketing group I know that meets regularly, and we've talked about some ideas like that. But I think billboards on the interstate would help lead people into town, because we've got something special here.
It's a good community.
Sure is.
And with some of these businesses that have come to town, we need to make sure that they're going to stay.
Yep.
Right. And what worries me is seeing things on the square kind of in flux a little bit, and it's like, we need to pump up these businesses. So we try and I'd say the Speedway is one of the biggest probably touristy things that we have, especially on a regular weekly basis. We're gonna try, and last year I think we had over 50,000 people that attended the races at Highland Speedway.
Good
So
for you guys.
if we can get some of those people, and we work with the businesses here to get them to, to get those race fans to attend, and go to places before, and if we get done at a decent time, they can go hang out after too, right?
Hit some of the local establishments up. Get a bag of ice on your way home.
So no, and I think you're the podcast. I think this is a great way. What's Up Highland is a great way to get the word out about Highland. I know it's something we talked about. I'm like, man, this is something that the city of Highland needs. So I think it's great that you guys are doing it and taking the reins there. Because I see other cities doing a really good job at marketing themselves. I just saw a commercial for the city of Collinsville that was on during the St. Louis SC, and I sent it to Kevin Heeman, the mayor. I said, we need to be doing this, and just getting new residents. You're selling houses, we need more houses built. We need new residents. We need fresh blood
it's a
here in
community,
town.
and you're right. More people need to know. It's a very cool small town.
So anything that we can do, you guys can do to help pump up Highland, I think is great. And we've got a great chamber of commerce. Hillary over there does a great job.
She sure does.
We just need more people to know and hear about it.
Agree. Good words. Good words.
For sure.
So what we want to do, we have Kurt has been gracious enough to offer two entries into the Speedway this year. We're going to throw in a Highland, What's Up Highland shirt. So for those of you that are watching, we'll make sure when we post, a keyword or something, and then we're going to draw a winner for 2 passes into the Speedway and a What's Up Highland t-shirt.
So we'll get you 2 pit passes. That'll get you full access. That gets you a seat in the grandstands. Plus you can walk in and out of the pits and go up and talk to these guys. And they've got some interesting stories just to see the equipment, the engines. I mean, the LS7 engine that Mike Harrison had in his super late model last year. I mean, it's like, wow, like it's some, if you're a car guy, you need to get out there and check it out.
Corvette engine.
So maybe we'll hear a world famous chicken tenders. No. All right. Anyway, Kurt, thanks for coming on. It's been very informative. I hope that it gets people excited. Here we are. The weather's turning. I'm excited. I'm ready to hear those engines fire up. Any parting words, Ryan?
Appreciate it, man.
Yep. Get out to world famous Highland Speedway opening night, March 15th. Super late models, modifieds, pro modifieds, and factory stocks on opening night. Hope to see you guys there.
Love it, man.
Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt.